Hi sweet friend, I'm Sprout. Let's make this cute little pony together. If you'd like a printable pattern, you can find it through the link in my bio. It makes things a lot easier to follow. Let's start with the pony's body. We'll need to make 2 identical panels. Begin with a slip knot. Hold the yarn gently with your fingers, leaving a small tail. Bring your hook under the yarn, then over it, and pull the yarn through. Tighten to form a slip knot. This does not count as a stitch. Now chain 5. Yarn over and pull through. Each little V shape is 1 chain stitch. Once you have 5 chains, turn your chain and work into the back bumps. These raised loops on the back are the back bumps. Count from the end. Insert your hook into the second back bump from your hook. Now make a single crochet in that stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, then pull through both loops. If you'd like, place a stitch marker in your first stitch. It might feel a little awkward at first, but it'll get easier. You should have 4 stitches, and that completes row 1. Now let's move on to row 2. Chain 1, then turn your work. This chain does not count as a stitch. Make 1 single crochet, then 1 increase, and 2 single crochets. You should have 5 stitches. If you'd like, place a stitch marker in the first stitch. As you reach the end, remove the stitch marker from the last stitch, and that completes row 2. Rows 3 and 4 are the same. Just work 5 single crochets across with no increases or decreases. For each row, chain 1 and turn your work. Place a stitch marker in the first stitch if that helps. Remove the marker at the end of the row, and that completes row 3. Row 4 is worked the same way. I'll speed through the repeated rows here. Just remember to chain 1 at the beginning of each row. That chain does not count as a stitch. No rush, just take your time. And now row 4 is complete. You'll need to make 2 identical panels for this section. For one panel, chain 1 and fasten off after row 4. I've already made one and set it aside. For the second panel, do not cut the yarn. We'll continue working from here. Once both panels are ready, let's begin row 5. Chain 1 and turn your work. Work for single crochets, then make 1 increase in the last stitch. Next, chain 6. Now, bring in the other panel to join. Before joining, turn the panel so the starting tail is on the left side. Insert your hook into the first stitch, and you can crochet over the loose yarn to hide it as you go. Make 1 increase, then work for single crochets across. You should have 18 stitches. And that completes row 5. 4 rows, 6 to 11. We'll work 18 single crochets in each row, with no increases or decreases. Chain 1. Turn your work. You can place a stitch marker in the first stitch if that helps. Make sure not to miss the first or last stitch, and count carefully. You should have 18 stitches. Just keep your work positioned evenly as you crochet. For the middle section, work into 1 loop of the chain. Just keep going at your own pace. Once you reach the sides, insert your hook under both loops of the stitch. Unless stated otherwise, always work under both loops. That completes row 6. Row 7 is worked the same way. At the beginning of each row, chain 1 and turn your work. I'll skip ahead through these repeated steps. Just take your time and follow along. Row 7 is complete. Row 8 is worked the same way. Row 11 is complete. If you're not sure which side is the front, look for both yarn tails on the left side. From the front, count the ridges. Each ridge represents 1 row, and you should have 6 rows here. Starting from the chain edge of row 5, count up 6 rows, you'll see 3 ridges, which match these rows. 4, row 12, chain 1, then turn your work. Work 16 single crochets, then make 1 decrease. You should have 17 stitches. You can place a stitch marker in the first stitch if that helps. Now just continue working your single crochets. Take your time and follow along. After the 16 single crochets, we'll make a decrease. To decrease, insert your hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop, then insert into the following stitch and pull up another loop. Yarn over and pull through all loops on your hook. And that completes row 12. For row 13, chain 1, then turn your work. Make 1 decrease, then 14 single crochets, and finish with 1 increase. You should have 17 stitches. Place a stitch marker in the first stitch. Now we'll work 14 single crochets. I'll go a little faster here. At the end, remove the marker and make an increase in the last stitch, working 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and that completes row 13. For row 14, chain 1, then turn your work. Make 1 increase, then 6 single crochets, and finish with 1 decrease. You should have 9 stitches. You can place a stitch marker in the first stitch. Now continue with 6 single crochets. Now make a decrease. And that completes row 14. For row 15, chain 1, then turn your work. Make 1 decrease, then 6 single crochets, and finish with 1 increase. You should have 9 stitches. Place a stitch marker in the first stitch, or move your previous marker if needed. This part is nice and simple, just take your time. And that completes row 15. For row 16, chain 5. Starting in the second chain from your hook, work for single crochets into the back bumps. Then return to the body. Make 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 5 single crochets, and 1 decrease. You should have 13 stitches. After chaining 5, turn your chain and work into the back bumps. After the 4 single crochets, turn your work. Start with 1 single crochet. Then make 1 increase. Continue with 5 single crochets. Remove the stitch marker, then make 1 decrease in the last stitch. And that completes row 16. For row 17, chain 1, then turn your work. Make 1 decrease, then 5 single crochets, 1 increase, and finish with 5 single crochets. You should have 13 stitches. Let's start with a decrease. Then make 5 single crochets. Then make 1 increase. Finish with 5 single crochets to complete the row. And that completes row 17. For row 18, chain 1, then turn your work. Work 5 single crochets, 1 increase, 5 single crochets, and finish with 1 decrease. You should have 13 stitches. Work 5 single crochets. Now make 1 increase. Continue with 5 single crochets and finish with 1 decrease. And that completes row 18. For row 19, chain 1, then turn your work. Make 1 decrease, then 5 single crochets, 1 increase, and 5 single crochets. You should have 13 stitches. Start with 1 decrease. Then work 5 single crochets. Now make 1 increase. Continue with 5 single crochets. And that completes row 19. For row 20, chain 1, then turn your work. Work 6 single crochets, 1 increase, 4 single crochets, and finish with 1 decrease. You should have 13 stitches. Then make 1 increase. Now continue with 4 single crochets and finish with 1 decrease. And that completes row 20. For row 21, chain 1, then turn your work. Make 1 decrease, then work 4 single crochets, and finish with 1 decrease. You should have 6 stitches. And that completes row 21. For row 22, chain 1, then turn your work. Make 1 decrease, then work 2 single crochets, and finish with 1 decrease. You should have 4 stitches. And that completes row 22. For row 23, chain 1, then turn your work. Make 2 decreases. You should have 2 stitches left. Chain 1, then fasten off. Pull the yarn tight to secure. And that completes the pony body. You'll need to make 2 of these, so go ahead and finish the second one the same way. Once both panels are finished, this side is the front. Place the front facing outward, and position the other panel in reverse. There isn't much difference between the 2 sides. Align the 2 pieces and fold them together. Insert your hook from the back, make a slip stitch, then work single crochets around the edge to join the 2 pieces. Insert your hook through both layers at the same time and pull up a loop. Hold the yarn tail over your work and under the hook. Chain 1. This chain does not count as a stitch. Then make a single crochet in the same stitch. You can crochet over the yarn tail to hide it, or tuck it inside the body. Work 2 single crochets between each pair of ridges, for a total of 5 sections. That gives you 10 stitches along the head. At the corners, make an increase. Everywhere else, work 1 stitch into each stitch. Make sure your hook goes through both layers, not just one. At the top, tuck the yarn tail inside the body. There are 2 stitches at the top. You can pull up a loop and stuff the piece, or add stuffing as you go. Don't overfill. Too much stuffing can affect the shape. After stuffing, continue with single crochets. Once you reach the top, adjust the stuffing inside. Continue working one stitch into each stitch to finish the edge. When you reach the last stitch, leave a yarn tail and finish with an invisible slip stitch. Insert your needle into the first stitch, then come out through the last stitch to complete the invisible join. Hide the yarn tail inside the body. Trim the excess yarn, and your pony body is complete. Take your decorative yarn and work slip stitches around this round of single crochets. Slip stitch all the way around. You can use any color you like. Insert your hook from the back. You can start in any stitch. Bring the yarn through and hold the yarn tail inside the piece. Insert your hook into the next stitch and keep the yarn tail above your hook. To make a slip stitch, yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook. After the last slip stitch, leave a longer yarn tail. Insert the yarn back into the first stitch, pull tight, and hide the yarn tail inside the body. Trim the excess yarn, and your decorative edging is complete. Now let's crochet the saddle. Start with a foundation chain of 10. Once you have 10 chains, work into the second chain from your hook, into one loop, and make 8 single crochets. You can use waistcoat stitches here for a cleaner look. Insert your hook from the top of the stitch. Place a stitch marker in the first stitch, if that helps. After the 8 single crochets, work 3 single crochets into the last stitch. Along the other side, work 7 single crochets, then make 1 increase in the last stitch. Just work into the other side of the chain. Remove the stitch marker and slip stitch into the first stitch to join. Trim the excess yarn if needed. That completes round 1 of the saddle. Round 2, make 1 increase, 7 half double crochets, 3 increases, 7 half double crochets, and 2 increases. Chain 1 to start, and place a stitch marker in the first stitch. To make a half double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, then yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops. After finishing this round, leave a long yarn tail and make an invisible join with the first stitch. You should have 26 stitches. Insert into the first stitch, then into the last stitch, and pull through. The invisible join is complete. Hide the yarn tail on the back. Trim the yarn. Using decorative yarn, work a round of slip stitches along the outer edge. Insert into any stitch and hold the yarn tail in place. This is the same method as before. Slip stitch all the way around the edge. After finishing, leave a yarn tail. Insert into the first stitch and tie a knot with the tail. Trim the yarn, then hide it on the back or secure it with glue. The saddle is now complete. Now let's assemble the pony. Start by attaching the saddle to the back in a good position. You can glue the saddle on, or sew it in place if you prefer. Apply some glue, and tuck the yarn tails inside as you attach it. Once the saddle is in place, we can add the mane and the tail. The mane uses 10 stitches. Insert 1 strand into each stitch. You can use the same color, or mix different colors. Start counting 10 stitches up from the back. Fold each strand in half. The mane is about 8 centimeters long, and the tail about 20 centimeters. You can trim it later. Insert the folded yarn into the stitch, pull the loop through, then pull the ends through the loop and tighten. Repeat for each stitch. The tail uses 4 stitches, with 1 strand in each stitch. After tightening, wrap 1 strand around 2 to 3 times, pull it through, and secure it with a knot on the back. To make the hanging loop, insert your hook at the top, pull up a loop, chain 5, or adjust the length, then slip stitch into the same stitch. Use a needle to hide the yarn tail inside. The hanging loop is done. You can now attach a trim the mane and tail to your liking. For a fluffier look, you can tease the yarn with a needle. Glue on the eyes wherever you like. And that's it for your rainbow pony charm. Thank you for being here. If you ever get stuck, just leave me a comment. I'm always happy to help.